Are you enjoying this Bitcoin bear market rally? In today's video, we'll be going over the most recent Bitcoin price action. We got a very nice pump up to $76,000, but this was well within my expectations. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So let me kick off this video by saying nothing has changed from my perspective. I still think that what we're seeing is a Bitcoin bear market rally, and I actually added to my existing Bitcoin short. If you've been tuning into the channel for quite some time, you know that I shorted Bitcoin massively at around $97,000. I took significant profits on the way down, which you can see here, over 300K in profit, and then I held on to the rest of my position. Now, since Bitcoin tapped into the tariff capitulation lows once more, I added to my existing Bitcoin short position with size. My average entry on this short is now back down to $80,000. If you tuned into my live stream yesterday, I gave you my analysis, but ultimately I added to my short right here when we had this tariff capitulation low sweep. Now, what could be next for Bitcoin? Because I know there's a lot of people stressing out about what if Bitcoin just starts exploding from here. I read it in my comment sections as well, just to show you, could you be wrong big time on your latest prediction that Bitcoin would drop lower than $60,000? Looks like 60K was the bottom. A lot of us held off buying and missed a 15K profit this week. Very disappointed. You are usually very accurate. Not this time. Then we also have another guy here, David. Matsir, you are too bearish or just too soon. Market loves to do what most people don't expect. I would flip bearish once we are getting close to the support bands, but after Wednesday, we might have the local top. Legends, all I do every single day is trade the price action that is right in front of me. And if history is to be of any indication, Bitcoin is likely to bleed lower even after this rally. I know a lot of people are getting extremely bearish. We covered some of the posts. Look, Michael Saylor bought some more Bitcoin. We also have this guy coming out and saying the short squeeze from 71K to 105K is going to be biblical. Bears will be in shambles. We're all gonna make it. Now, let me run you through the Bitcoin price action and why I do think that we will ultimately be headed lower even with this relief rally. So I'm sure you've seen the 2022 fractal, but it is continuing to look very, very similar. So we dump from all-time highs, we create a bear flag, then we drop further, we get even more relief, then we drop further, ultimately creating our bear market low. What you'll notice is the exact same thing seems to be playing out. We dump, we create a bear flag, we dump again, we get a little bit of relief, which is what we're seeing here. And actually on a weekly time frame basis, we're currently hovering right around these tariff capitulation lows, which is a very, very significant level. And ultimately, I do think that we will be headed lower. So I don't think that $60,000 is the bottom. Now, I want to explain some of my invalidations as well in case I am proven wrong, because as I always say, no one is a fortune teller. Speaking of which, please remember that nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. Now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at what happened the last time that Bitcoin got 7 or 8 daily green candles in a row. The last time this occurred, if we go on the daily time frame, you'll notice that Bitcoin in 2023 got a massive rally to the upside. So is this going to be replicated? You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 daily candles in a row, all green. Now, this price action that we recently got is actually 8 candles in a row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. Now, there's another time that this occurred, and I believe that we're looking at something similar. That other time was actually right before Bitcoin broke down lower. If you see here, this white line on the chart along with my white arrow, we had 7 or 8 days of bullish price action for Bitcoin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the drop resumed. I still think that Bitcoin is in a bear market. I still think that the trend is down. That's why my overall trading strategy in this market has been to look for swing shorts when we get these relief rallies and look for some scalp longs. So right now, as I'm recording this video, Bitcoin is currently hovering around these tariff capitulation lows, which is a critical level for us to flip if we are to get any continued upside. Now, regarding my Bitcoin short, what is my invalidation here? Because my average entry is now back to $80,000. My invalidation is actually if we start getting weekly closes above the bull market support band, which you'll notice is this band right here, stemming from between 83K up to just below $85,000. So if Bitcoin manages to rally all the way up here and we start holding this level as support, I would be willing to say that maybe this time is different. However, until proven otherwise, I still think it's important to be very, very careful with bear market pumps. These are relief rallies. There's no reason for us to believe that this time is different, and I will continue to trade the market accordingly. So at this point in time, having added to my existing Bitcoin short, my target is actually sub $60,000. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I've been quite vocal about waiting for these tariff capitulation lows. And let's go to this chart. This has been outlined for weeks now, and I was waiting for Bitcoin to hit this level before justifying adding to my existing Bitcoin short. So let's see how the price action develops. On the other side, some of you have been asking me, what happens if we just absolutely rally, we break above the bull market support band, and my shorts get blown out of the water? Well, no big deal, because that's why I hold Bitcoin. I need to keep reiterating this because some of you think that I'm 100% in cash, which I am not. I do hold some Bitcoin, so if there is some more upside this year and the bear market thesis is invalidated, well, I do stand to still benefit from that. However, it is not my base case. I still firmly believe that Bitcoin will be going sub $60,000, and I will continue to trade the market as such. So I hope I've made myself clear and I've explained myself adequately as to why I think Bitcoin could be going lower. If we also take a look at this chart, which is the Bitcoin percentage of supply in profit and loss, you'll notice that these lines have not crossed yet. Usually what happens is we get close to 50-50, these lines cross, and then we're close to a bear market bottom. Now, some of you have been asking me, what is my bear market target for Bitcoin? Right now, we're sitting at around just below $74,000. I don't think that it is unlikely that Bitcoin goes down to sub 50K. And as a matter of fact, my bear market target is at the bare minimum targeting this wick. So what does that mean from an investment standpoint? What am I actually going to do? As I've said time and time again, if Bitcoin starts dropping below $60,000, I would be willing to allocate a portion of my cash position to start dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. Because remember, no one can time the perfect bottom. Of course, I will do my best to get as close to the bottom as possible, but I still want some exposure sub $60,000, even though I think the probabilities favor that we can go back to this wick low, which was set in August of 2024, and maybe even below that level. It sounds crazy to say this, but if you study the 4-year cycle, you'll know exactly why this is feasible. Typically, Bitcoin drops over 75% from the bull market top to the bear market bottom. Granted, we have institutions involved, and maybe, just maybe, we won't have as significant of a drop. So if we take that into account, from the high here at around $126,000 to this 60K low, we've already dropped over 50%. That being said, 50% is nowhere near 75%. So let's assume we're somewhere in the middle, 60% drop. That does bring us all the way down to that wick low of the summer of 2024. And in fact, it is still probable that we can go below that level at some point this year. All I know is that the lower we go, starting from sub $60,000, I will be a buyer. The lower we go, the more I will buy. So I hope that makes sense. I'm being very, very patient for my spot portfolio. And when it comes to trading this market, As you know, I have pivoted to shorts, I have started adding to my existing short position, and I am ultimately very, very comfy in my positions. So what is next? Tomorrow we do have FOMC and PPI, so stay tuned for that. I will try to do a live stream. If you want to watch that live stream, remember to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Also, legends, regarding the live streams, I had a couple of people comment, geez, 1 hour and 40 minutes. Or some guy said, I used to love your shorter videos. Legends, if you don't want to tune into the live streams, you don't need to. That's what live streams are for. They're much, much longer, more chilled sessions where I could sip a cup of coffee, talk with you, look at the charts, cover the news, and we really do take our time on the live streams. It's essentially a little hangout spot. So if you don't want to watch those, don't feel compelled to do so, because I do have my video updates every single day, which are usually between 5 and 15 minutes long at most. And the last thing I want to cover here before we wrap up this video, the stock market. You can see that we are still well below our bull market support band, and ultimately as stocks bleed lower, I do think that this favors risk assets like Bitcoin, like crypto, to also move lower. I know some of you are getting tired of me being bearish, but guys, this is a bear market year. I was always going to look for swing shorting opportunities in this market, but believe me, when it's time to flip bullish, macro bullish, I will flip bullish, and I will basically only be looking for swing longing opportunities in the next bull market. And as we wrap up today's video, please remember there is a phenomenal promotion on Bluffin, which is the second link in my description down below. You can actually withdraw up to $50,000 in rewards. Yes, those are withdrawable rewards. And if you sign up with the second link in my description down below, you get access to my own private group where I share all of my own personal trades. All the trades that you see me talk about on a daily basis on my YouTube channel are shared in this group. It is completely free because you're trading with your own capital. Once you've signed up to Bluffin, you can go ahead and get access to my Telegram community. Just DM me the keyword CBM after clicking this link, and you'll get added into the group. And that sums up today's very quick video update. Nothing has really changed, even though Bitcoin has rallied up to $76,000. If we start getting strong acceptance above the bull market support band, which is all the way up to just under $85,000, then perhaps I would be willing to pivot my stance. But until then, I think that what we're seeing right now is a typical bear market rally. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.